When was the last time you were truly alone with yourself? Not scrolling your phone, not replying to messages, not taking care of someone else. Just being yourself. For many women, this moment rarely exists. Because at a very young age, she is taught to take care of everyone else first. As a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, and now as a professional. But somewhere between these roles, she truly forgets what she is. Hello everyone, I am Shweta. I come from a very ordinary middle-class Indian conservative family. I was raised in a very large joint family with 6 male cousins. My childhood was loud, active, full of sports, school activities, and I was constantly trying to prove myself. Because somewhere deep inside, despite being energetic and outspoken, I lacked self-confidence. Maybe that's why, because appreciation often went to those who were more focused, more certain, and more successful. And maybe that's why this one particular journey changed my life forever. After my 10th standard, me and my extended family went on a 20-day long road trip across South India. This was way before Google Maps. We traveled with paper maps, local dhabas, and with a pure excitement. And I still remember watching the sunset, standing at Kanyakumari, watching the sunset at Triveni Sangam. And unknowingly, this journey planted a seed in my heart, a seed of travel. Like many Indian girls, I followed the safe path, engineering, marriage, child, responsibilities. But middle of creating beautiful life for everyone else, I slowly paused my own career. But I was not someone who would stop dreaming. So during this phase, I decided to study something which I truly loved, tourism. For the first time of my life, I had chosen passion over expectations. So I completed my master's in tourism and started working with a travel company. And I honestly thought my dream life has started. But the reality was different. Here I was sitting behind the desk, creating travel itineraries for someone else and selling them. And I still remember thinking, this is not what I wanted to do. I just don't want to plan itineraries, I want to live them. So I quit, and eventually, along with my business partner, I started my own travel company, which believed in creating meaningful experiences. Today, after 14 years of experience, I have traveled almost 45 plus countries and worked with thousands of travelers. But the journey was never across the countries. It was within myself. Travel made me calmer. It taught me patience, resilience, empathy, and most importantly, it gave me something which I missed since my childhood, my self-confidence. And one day, I realized something more bigger. Travel just did not teach me to run away from my life, but it taught me to return to my life as myself. Over the years, I've been traveling with thousands of women travelers, different ages, different cities, different backgrounds. But emotionally, many of times, their stories sound the same. Tired, exhausted, overgiving. Women spend years taking care of everyone else first, without ever taking care of themselves. During these journeys, I realized something more powerful. Women don't always need luxury, but sometimes they just need permission to breathe. I remember this lady joining me on my Leh Ladakh trip. She was traveling almost up to 7 years. For all these years, she was raising her child all alone, because most of the time her husband was busy or was unavailable. And for the first time, she had chosen to come alone on the trip, on an only woman's trip. By the time she joined the trip, she was truly exhausted. And during the journey, I watched her transformed. She was laughing freely, enjoying like a kid. She felt lighter, almost like a bird who had forgotten it could fly. And on the last day of the tour, she said, she had tears in her eyes and she came to me and said, Shweta, these were the best days of my life. And then she said something which really broke my heart. She said, for the first time, I was not preparing tea or coffee for someone else. In fact, someone else was bringing that to my room. I was not choosing clothes for someone else or others. I was doing it for myself. I was not eating leftovers. And for the first time, I shopped without any guilt. And I still remember standing there silently and thinking how little the society allows a woman to belong to herself. And then there was another woman who joined me on my Japan trip. She was 50 years old. On the first day of the tour, during an icebreaker activity, she sang a song. Entire group cheered for her. She sang it very beautifully. But later in the night, she came to me and said, Shweta, you know what? This was the first time I sang a song in front of so many people. And I was shocked because she had done it so confidently. And then she said something which I will never forget. She said, for these many years, I was thinking I was a terrible singer. But here, people didn't know me. They didn't judge me. And this was the reason I joined on the trip solo. Not for Japan, not for sightseeing, but to exist for a few days without any guilt. And that day, I truly understood something. Women don't always look for escape. Sometimes they just look for space. Space to breathe, space to think again, and space to become themselves again. Because somewhere between responsibilities and expectations, many of women slowly disappear into the roles they perform. And travel gives them something which is very rare, a temporary pause from being everything for everyone. People often say travel changes them, but for me, I believe for women, travel heals them. It reminds them that they are still individuals, they deserve joy, they're allowed to take rest, they're allowed to breathe, they're allowed to explore, they're allowed to spend on themselves, and most importantly, they're allowed to exist without any guilt. So I strongly believe women deserve their own time, not to escape from life, but to return to their life more happier, more stronger, and more emotionally present. Because when woman reconnects with herself, every relationship around her improves too. Today when I see women traveling confidently solo, trying new places, exploring new things, creating spaces in the world unapologetically, I feel hopeful. Because every woman who chooses herself inspires another woman to do the same. And this is how maybe the change truly begins. One journey at a time, because the most beautiful destination a woman can discover is not a country, but it's within herself. Thank you.